adjustment here. We're rehearsing here. Our setup is in the background.
All good.
Anyway, cool. So shoot,
So how's it going?
it's going pretty well. We're in pre-production for the Battle Ballads tour of North America and Canada, US and Canada, in a couple of weeks. The album is coming soon. Everything's going pretty well, I'd say.
Yeah, for sure. How do you feel about your North America tour?
We're very, very excited to get back on the road. We haven't done a proper tour since 19, so 5 years ago.
Yeah,
Um,
a little bit.
so yeah, but things really ground to a screeching halt with the pandemic, and hasn't really got going for us again until now, I hope.
Yeah, for sure. So I have to ask, how do you feel now that the album is finally finished and about to be released?
It's a great feeling. A great feeling. Two singles are out already. The reception has been, I would say, overwhelmingly positive, and we changed a few things in the music and in the lineup since the last album. So it's always exciting to try something new and see what people think about it. And yeah, we think because of the pandemic, we had at least some peace and quiet to work on the music in more detail than maybe we have done for the last couple of albums. So we're pretty pleased with the result and excited to see what people are going to think.
Yeah, for sure. I listened to the album and I think it's amazing. I don't think I heard one song on there that I didn't like. So I think people are going to be super excited to listen to it.
Thanks, I hope you're right.
So how long did the album take from kind of start to finish?
Some of the songs, a couple of them at least, were around already by the time we released the last album, studio album, Hill, in 2019 or 18. I don't remember. Um, and then the other songs were written in the time in between, and a couple of the songs were written kind of last moment. So we started already years ago and worked on them one by one. Um, it was a somewhat chaotic process that though, because I moved twice in the meantime. I made a completely unrelated album. We released a live album, and Thaddeus moved two once. But finally, at the end of the production of this album, we were all living in the same country for the first time in I don't know, 2 decades. So that helped a lot. Made the production process much more calm and easy. Also, the fact that Hans Hammer, our new guitar player who joined, is a very capable studio technician himself and producer. So he also helped with the recording and production of some of the stuff, which took a load of my back. I'm usually overloaded with all this work, so all in all, things came together pretty nicely at the end.
Oh, nice. So how would you say this album kind of compares to previous albums since there's a little bit of a lineup change and also, some different elements added in?
Um, to the last album, Hell, it is comparatively much more to the point, shorter and more direct. Um, that album, Hell, turned out a little bit progressive and the songs are a bit lengthy and I decided, at least consciously this time before we started the songwriting process, to not test the patience of the listener and get more straight to the point. Don't add anything unnecessarily progressive or maybe unlistenable, or maybe that's not the right word. But some people who are musicians themselves really enjoy listening to complicated patterns and rhythms and melodies and harmonies, but most people who just want to enjoy a good song don't care too much about that. So we wanted to consciously hit maybe appeal to a wider base of people simply by avoiding the long and complex structures. Apart from that, we've done the same old, making the best melodies and harmonies and riffs that we can, and they're based on Faroese and Nordic traditional music and myths. So this album maybe falls more in line with albums like By the Light of the Northern Star, The Lay of Thrym, Valkyria, like a bit faster, a bit shorter, and not uh, like albums like Ragnarok and Hill, which are where we kind of just added more and more just for the sake of it in the end, which is fun as a musician, especially. It's great fun to do that, but you simply put off a lot of people by making it too long and complicated. And if you want to be a professional musician, like pay your bills with this, you have to think about not putting people off on purpose.
Yeah, for sure. So I know you said that there was a lot of myths and things that is kind of based off of. Do you have like a favorite one of those or like a folklore, a favorite folklore?
Do you mean our songs or the traditional ones in the Faroes?
Hmm. The one in the
Uh,
Pharaohs.
yeah, one favorite. Yeah, I probably have one that I've used a few times called Bresteskveie. Um, and there are some amazing traditional recordings uh, from a village called Sumpa here on Suðuroy that yeah, it's an extremely what can you call it? A powerful melody and a strong story from the from Faroese history, and I've used that melody quite a few times in several uh, combinations, and it's very simple. It's in minor, a Dorian, um, and it has a very powerful rhythm, which kind of underlines the powerful story. So yeah, that would definitely be my favorite.
Well, awesome. I know like listening to it, it's kind of cool to hear about like different myths and kind of learn about, especially like another place, another country. So that's always interesting as well.
Hmm.
So I do want to ask you, I noticed the album has some English songs, but then it also has some songs in your traditional language as well. How do you decide which ones are in English and which ones are not?
That's pretty easy. The ones that are in Faroese, I haven't written myself. They're traditionals. So once we take a traditional Faroese or Scandinavian melody or ballad, we simply take the melody and the text and do it like in a traditional way. Well, we take some freedoms. It's not in a completely traditional way. It's adapted to metal, but then the text comes with it. And in these songs, the two on this album, um, the text came with the traditional song. Um, I have, in some cases in the past, written and on this album written some lyrics in Faroese, but I find it difficult to write in Faroese. I've always listened to metal in English, and it sounds to me like it should be in English. Um, so it it's just easier. Um, there's one song on this album that is in Faroese and Latin. The Latin we stole from some phrases from a book which has the first earliest known reference to the Faroes, written in Ireland in the 700s, and I thought it was fitting to write the verses in Faroese, but maybe on every other album I write one song in Faroese. By far, the most I write is in English, and most of the ones you see in Faroese are traditional lyrics.
Oh, okay. Well, that's really cool to know. I love how, you kind of do your history and, incorporate that into metal because that's pretty awesome. You teach history and have a metal at the same time.
Yeah, I suppose you can say that. the thing is, a heavy metal song, the lyrics of a heavy metal song are quite short compared to a history book. If you take something like Alexander the Great by Iron Maiden, they just go through the dates and the main events in his life, but it's very difficult to teach history through a metal song. Although you can get some details and some events in, but I wouldn't recommend studying history by listening or reading our lyrics.
So, what is the metal scene like on the Faroe Islands?
Uh, I suppose for the size of the country, it's okay. You can't really say there's a metal scene, although we're trying to keep it alive. There's a great music scene compared to the size of the country. There are a few festivals, just more and more. There are 3 or 4 decently big festivals, and there are just coming more festivals. And at these festivals, you see all styles of music, including metal. So I would
Hmm.
say there's a big metal scene, a big music scene of which metal is a part.
Okay, awesome. So another question I did have is what's kind of like each member's role in creating the album? Like how do you guys get together for that creative process?
Um, well, I do most of the work of arranging and harmonizing and uh, putting together the songs. The guys bring me their ideas, riffs, melodies, whatever they have, um, and together we go over it, just doing the production work. Typically, I will sit down with Gunnar, just me and Gunnar alone, or me and Thaddeus sometimes, and we just listen to what we have, make changes and comments together. Gunnar has some nice ideas with his bass, and we incorporate it. I'm very I want things to be arranged in a very classically, um, an really old school classical way where things make sense in a very classical music sense. The lines and the harmonizations and the counterpoint and everything. So I make sure that's there while the guys just put their ideas in it, and I will adjust their ideas until they fit to my standard of music. So if the guys were left to do whatever they wanted, it wouldn't sound like I would do it. But I'm very I suppose you would call me a control freak. So they bring me their ideas, we incorporate everything, and then after all the music is done, I write the lyrics, and for the first time ever, Tadeusz helped me with the lyrics for this one. We wrote us 3 or 4 songs together, Tadeusz and I, talking about the lyrics only. And usually I've been left alone with that work. It's been the way I like it, but it's nice to get some help. And I believe the more people are involved, the more rounded the final product will be. It can get very monotonous and one-sided, and having a very specific direction when I do everything alone. Like for example, with the Land album, honestly, I like it better when I cooperate with my bandmates. I like the result better. I think we simply reach. It's I'm rambling. Turns out to be more than the sum of its parts, is what I'm trying to say.
Well, I think it sounds awesome. So I think you guys are doing a really good job.
Thanks.
And I do just have one final question here for you. Are there any messages you would like to give to your fans or anyone interested in listening to your music, wanting to go to your concert?
Uh, yeah, I mean, I would like to say to everyone that I'm extremely pleased with the support we have had over the years, and I'm glad for everyone who listens to and likes the music, and thinking about the effect music had on me when I was younger. If our music can help people in the same way, I'm very happy. Um, Good music is a very important part of life, maybe especially for young people, but certainly also for everyone. So I'm honored and happy to everyone that's listening, and I really hope to see all of you somewhere on the road.
Awesome. And also don't forget to go get the album. It comes out on April the 12th.
Battle Ballads, available at all good music stores.
Well, thank you again for taking the time to do this interview, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your afternoon.
Thank you for doing this, and hope to see
Right.
you around. Cheers.